the Garden of Remembrance. It's associated with the Irish Constitution. It's important that we should remember the values of the Constitution and how they apply to people. The importance of the Liberties project was mainly to keep a connection with people during the worst days of the pandemic, when we all thought we were getting locked down forever. A lot of people have expressed that there was no avenues of hope for them, and people have found it through expression in writing and the creative process, and that's where the Liberties lockdown group came up from. And we say it's a writing group, but it's not. It's more of a space for people to express what they're feeling. And that was just the importance, because a lot of people felt like they were being left behind. Some of the promises of the politicians of we're all in it together just didn't ring true, you know, and us, ourselves, we got together and formed this. The group has been important. It's given them a space to be expressive, but to be expressive in a way that's meaningful to them, to share some of their deep, dark stuff that they wouldn't have shared before through the form of writing. This has become almost like a cathartic release for them. For me, first, initially, I could speak of my issues. Through metaphors, I could kind of hide behind things and say stuff about my life, but would make a joke or funny or whatever. And it didn't bother me as much when people read it. The more I done it, I stopped using metaphors and started being more expressive of myself. But initially, I couldn't have done that. There's no way. For me, it was almost therapeutic. I can say that honestly, because I used to have an awful problem expressing myself. And that you bottle all them thoughts up. And I found writing down and looking back on it, I could see that that's not such a big issue as I thought it was in my head. It's just a few words, it's not going to kill me, I can get it out and get it over and done with. And that created space for more thinking and for good stuff to come in behind it. Like, through the value of art and the appreciation of creative process that I've learned to express those deep, dark fears that kind of dominated my life, and I couldn't, they kept me down, whereas now I'm able to throw them out and get on with it. Doesn't bother me. And I think that was part of the thinking behind the Liberty Writers Group. That expression, that freedom that people are getting within themselves. And it's testimonial, like if you read the poems that we have in the collection of poems that we have from people, and their ability to express now what their darkest fears, to share out amongst others. And now they're writing, and it's very expressive. And it's stuff they wouldn't have expressed initially. No way. It was very hard for me to speak out on certain stuff. And because they're able to write and it puts it to bed, they're able to kill the power of it in your mind. Because you put it on the page and you look back and go, oh, it's not as big, it's just a few words or whatever. And you process that, you know, and you become comfortable with it. And you feel brave in expressing more and more, and then you get in contact with your feelings, and next minute your writing has expression, real expression. The whole idea is about encouraging people and to see the better of people, you know, to encourage them and to say, like, Jesus, you have something there, that's a great tone of expression you have, or that's a great way of putting something on paper that can encourage and help others. And they start seeing that and start believing in themselves, and next when they start writing about it, and you see it the way that writing changes. There's a transformation in it, you know. In the darkness of despair we saw a vision. We lit the light of hope and it was not extinguished. In the desert of discouragement we saw a vision. We planted the tree of valor and it blossomed. We sent our vision a swim like a swan on the river. The vision became a reality. Winter became summer, bondage became freedom. And this we left to you as your inheritance. O generations of freedom, remember us, the generations of the vision. For me, it's to be here and to remember the values of the Constitution and the people that it's supposed to serve. It's the promise of what this is all about, to remember the people that are left behind. We have a super rich society now in Ireland, and the haves and the have-nots are getting further and further apart. And I think it's beholden the people to like close that gap, you know, make it a fairer, more equal society. I'm quite proud of it, to be honest, because I've seen how people have benefited from it, and I've seen how people have actually grown just by reading their writing, the poems and the stuff they're sharing, and you can see the transformation even within their writing, that you know there's something happening within the mind. You have to have a degree of freedom within the mind to be able to express what's really going on, and to be able to express it and live with it, because it's not always easy to tell your story, you know. It's a really, really, really good project. It's taken off. It's brought the people along who it's meant to bring along. I think you could turn around honestly and say they owned it. And that's the most important thing, you know, to hear their voice. When I look in the mirror, I see a figure of hate, the same old face I wish to obliterate. All the hurt and pain from a life of rejection shows up so clear in my reflection. Deep into my eyes, memories deliver. Along my spine, they do shiver. Forever shown a man betrayed. Oh, how I wish the battle scars would fade. Why must you taunt me, O murderous thought? Bittersweet the release of adrenaline you sought. Calm you beast that inhabits my chest. Leave me be still, my mind screams for rest. You feed on emotions, you feast on my pain. Your constant mocking echoes again and again. If only to silence, let peace begin. Eradicate your torment with a swipe of my pen. A little trick learned while confined to a cell, how the beauty in a poem can free one from hell.
I am still human, walking around Dublin city, trying to find a place not gritty. A bag so wet it hurts my breath, fingers and toes all curled up. Please someone put money in this cup. Sitting at the GPO and yes, still nowhere to go. You see the man on the corner, all he wants for Christmas is to be warmer. A blanket, jacket or socks, these things I have not. You see, he once had a wife, a home, a job, and even a phone. As I sit and watch people pass, you would think time would go fast. As the cold creeps in and my body starts to shake, somebody please help me for God's sake. I'm old and I'm cold. Would Santa believe me if I told him I was never bold? When you pass me by, do you think why? Or am I just the same as that other guy? So you think in all of this I would drink and sing, but God is beside me, not behind me. As I set up my bed made out of cardboard on top of a large board, I lay on my back still shivering at that, losing my last breath, I know I'm facing death. Will anyone even notice me? Or will they say, oh, just let him be?
Flat on my feet, rain hides the tears. Begin to feel the feet, my heart skips a beat. Alone in the street, no one to me, nor to greet. Here's where I eat, here's where I sleep. Middle of the street. Rain soaks my sheets, breeze comes through. Body heat of two, just a distant view. Begging for change, but only getting coins. It's time for change, discard the chains. End this giving pain and end poverty.
Choose which face to put on, rather than depression. Choose to wear a smile, if only for a while. Throw away your mask, and know that this life is a task. A task to get through this day. Just chin up, I'm here to stay. Just reach out to me, live your life and be happy.
The love for my mum and dad, knowing that they took me into care. 7 years old, I was a brat. They always had my back. Being there, I'll always love them on my heart. They gave me a good start. I want to say I care. I'm glad they're always there.
We are in your prison, Earth. You have swallowed back our key. Locked up sick, with cabin fever, we lie alone, nowhere to be. They truly overdid it, Earth. Lost all sense of responsibility. Taking quickly, giving nothing back. Caging others in a cycle of poverty. I hope that you can help us, Earth, to create change and opportunity, entwined and healing in your roots, in a world of peace and equality, where together we remember love is not a commodity.
Our life has a mission. Follow your ambitious understand. I can only be myself, that's all I can be. Look at those who care for me. My life's important in what I do. And like to say, it's up to you. I won't let people put me down. They won't know me when they hear the sound. Bottom one rapper coming through. I don't need any crew. I don't need anyone that you can see. I stay away from drink and ecstasy. Drink and drugs is my addiction. Like so many different fiction. Gun is another. Well, put the pressure on my mother. The answer is no. It's time to let it go. Set me free, take me out of misery. You ain't gonna turn me till you hold me. Let it flow, let the button show. Hit the rock the show with this. Drink your drugs, I will not miss. Well, life ever changed. It's all about a current game. What goes on in Ballymun, it's a shame. Young people deal what they see in Ballymun. Like with crime, it's so fun. People getting shot with a 24-range gun. Going around taking out one another. Leave a broken heart on a single mother. Rob cats are everywhere. That's why the people avoid it, I don't care. Set me free, take me out of misery. You ain't gonna turn me till you hold me. Let it flow, let the button show. Hit the rock the show with this. Drink your drugs, I will not miss.
Surrounded by fear, a cold and dark November, nowhere to go till December. Closed up inside your home, but all on my own. Depression and anxiety, all together in one, but nowhere to run. Fear in my mind, fear in my body, fear of the one who sits by me. Masks on faces, eyes so big, wondering does that person have anything? A virus so big, but yet so small, we will still stand tall. Dublin City, a place that was fun, now look how it's being run.
Black 47. The crop is bad, no spuds to be had. Outlook bleak, hungry and weak. The crop is bad. The plague is here, a sign it here, for hunger and fear. The crop is dead. Blackened is the bee, hungry, dying in the street, with nothing to eat. Corn for the rich, the impoverished suffer. Impoverished suffer.
One man's nightmare, it's one man's dream. One man's disaster, it's another man's green. It's a drug's game. Messed up for with no pain. Don't ask the questions, I don't know how I came. All that depression and all that to see it. Everything you want, it's all that I've been. All that I treasure and all that I gave. I'm not popping ecstasy by a mess of brave. So much disaster, I see so much rape. I like a flying body that open cave. I talk like a man, I drink like a fish. Send me lane 5 times a pit in your wish. God bless your father, covered in blood. Sad and dogs should be happy, I rode his hood. If my heart does bleed, if I don't get the key, open the door, set the white and black speed. Past the alcohol, you know I'm busy. Boy, something in the morning, always makes me dizzy. High, fire, group, hug, give a beat salute. It's got a buzz for me.
Well, today I'm here part of the Lockdown Liberties group that we have, and I have a topic that I'd like to speak on that's very close to an experience that I relate a lot to it, and it's about reintegration, exiting homeless services. It's to deal with the aftercare, and there's a lot of things lacking in the aftercare, especially around happening things and tenancies. And like, you can spend anywhere up to 2 years being in homeless accommodation. You get shipped around a lot. There's a lot of them that's infested with like drugs, and there's crime and violence and things like that. And like, from young people going in there, it's not really the best place to be. How can you manage to keep on top of your bills when you have no like living alone experience, like your mental health? Like, you can pick up addictions on a daily basis in there, and then on exiting, like, you know, like, a lot of people don't exit, like, you know, and get themselves a place, but a lot of the time it's really drugs, you know, like drugs, and then jail as well, like, because you're hanging around, you're around the town a lot. The police start to see it, they start to stop you, what you're doing. Sometimes you're asked to live in accommodation and you come back in the night time, and it's a vicious circle, it's like a trap. And I believe that with a proper plan in place, like with aftercare, like, that can help individuals like become better members in society, help them progress. And most of them are mentally and physically damaged by the time they get to that stage. And the aftercare, because the way the homeless service looks at it is, when you're finished, you're no longer on our books. I'll explain that I had aftercare, yeah, and it was basically what it was. It was people ringing me up, asking me about my problems and things like that. And what annoyed me the most is that's all they did was just ask your problems with no intention of actually helping you. And I think that really does need to change, because there is a lot of lot of people who get lost in this system, and like a helping hand like is a godsend, you know what I mean? Like, you can really help build people's lives up. And I don't like mentioning services, but I do have to take my hat off to one service that actually does a great job in it, and that's the Peter McFerry Trust. And I think a lot of people could benefit of a lot more services based their strategies on aftercare around the McFerry Trust aftercare, because I think that is the most successful one that I can see to date. Is bringing light to the situation, shedding light on the situation, and bringing it forward and making noise around it, you know. Because I think it is a service that is really overlooked, and I think it's one of the most important things aftercare is to help individuals, like, you know.
As I know that you hold a mandate on human rights and equality, I think it's time that we join and try to eradicate poverty. These fall under housing, education, employment and health. I think we should start by spreading the wealth to people in need, the poor and the hopeless. Let's start by spreading hope to the hopeless. The lack of support, it truly offends me. When you're looking for votes, it's the only time you preach equality. Empty promises, I'm actually sick of it all. It's up to you, just make the call. The call to build houses. I mean, you are the government, why can't you stop this destruction? Just make the call to start construction. Construction of fairness, equality and a united Ireland. I mean, you are in charge of Ireland. Just follow through on what you said. instead of waking up and another is dead. Dead from the cold. A cardboard box is all that keeps me warm. If ye said yes, there would be no harm. That's why there's groups like ATD, because we stand against poverty. That's why we stand for equality. It's time to stop all this negativity that the government is spreading. I mean, look at where we are heading. When people look at homelessness as the normality, that's when I look on ye in pity. When you walk down Dublin and see people asleep on the ground, I don't know how you sleep so well and sound. Please listen to us, there's people dying. Families nearly drowning from the tears they're crying. They're crying to ye to help them out. Some are afraid to scream and shout. I hope this poem reaches someone's heart before this country just falls apart. Thanks very much. My name is Andrew, a person that is usually quiet. But I'm sick and tired of seeing people dying, people screaming out for help. So no, I won't stay quiet. I want change. So please try and make this happen. Not for my sake, but for generations to come. So be someone, be change.
I enter this race unwillingly. Your policies have put me in the goblet of fire without my consent. The screeching sound of the starting siren rises, but it does not fall. This is a complex game of cat and mouse, and in the wilderness I feel small. Like a tiny ant caught in the southern sands of the Sahara Desert. Lost in the tide, I go unnoticed by the hardened earth that surrounds me. I am so tired of running, yet I cannot stop. This siren burns in my ear like the constant lies of those in power. The conflicting sounds of both help and death. Whilst fear shatters hope and hate shatters love, war shatters peace. Until the siren stops and I am finally left alone.
Hi, my name is Christina Power. I'm going to talk to you about my life in the homeless service. First, let's go back to the beginning so everyone understands my story. When I was 3.5, my brother, my baby sister and I were taken into foster care and spent our lives there. My brother and I got moved around a lot, but my sister was the lucky one. She got to stay with the one family all her life. When I was 7, there was a family who offered my brother a home, and after a while they fostered me too, so we were back together. I didn't have the best start in life as I was moved from home to home until I finally got what I thought was my forever home with them. I loved being with this family. I felt like I was at home and I was safe. But as the years went by and I became a teenager when my trouble started, I started hanging around with the wrong people and got myself into trouble, drinking, smoking, etc. When I was 17, my social worker took me away from what I thought was my forever home and put me in a care home. I liked it here at first, but as time went on, life became worse. Something happened and I had to leave for my own safety. At 21, I ended up living in a hostel in the Dublin city centre. I had my own room with a bed, wardrobe and a bathroom, so it was better than a lot of the hostels I have read and heard about. The one thing I really loved was that I made a best friend who was there for me no matter what. She was a true friend. A few years went by and due to losing someone very close to me, I began to feel depressed and ended up in hospital for a while. Then I met my Jimmy. Jimmy was a new person in the hostel. He was there about a year before we became friends. And one weekend, my best friend thought it would be funny to have a chat with him and ask him, did he like me? As I liked him a lot. Thank God Jimmy felt the same way. We went out on a date just to see how things would go. And 4 years later, we are now married and happy as ever. Now that we are married, we couldn't live in the same hostel anymore. So the staff got us an apartment. It was our first home together, and we loved it. As I was in the homeless centre for 7.5 years, and Jimmy never lived on his own before. We did not know how to live on our own, but we soon learned. Unfortunately, time went on, my depression got worse, and things ended up getting so bad that we lost our apartment. We were now back on the streets with nowhere to go. We turned to the homeless service, but we were told here there was no beds for couples, only singles. We wanted to stay together as we were married at the end of the day. We eventually found a couple's bed in one of the worst hostels in town, but at least we were together. 3 weeks later, we were told it was not the right place for us and asked to move on, so we were back to square one. The only option we had left was to go into separate single accommodations. Yes, we were not together, but we made it work. That's my story of my life and my time in the homeless service. It does not have the best ending, but one day me and Jimmy will live and we will be happy. Thanks for listening.
Paddy up, and my man's going up on a new kid on the block. Hitting it on there, hip hop. Paddy up, and my man's going up. New kid on the block. Hitting it on there, hip hop. Yeah, my name's Money Maker. You want to get with me? Living that American dream. Paddy on down if you know what I mean. Yeah, look at the little harbor that I live. I lost $5 as a kid. I turned the drugs I drink. Now keeps up without a thing. Like can't think for anyone. Look downtown with so much fun. Paddy up, and my man's going up. New kid on the block, hitting it on bit hip hop. Paddy up, and my man's going up. New kid on the block, hitting it on bit hip hop. Life's amazing, the new life felt being blazing. Kick it back to the hometown. Money Maker has just been found. They sound like me from bad to good. Sound like me in the hood. Paddy up, and my man's going up. New kid on the block, hitting it on bit hip hop. Paddy up, and my man's going up. New kid on the block, hitting it on bit hip hop. My generation's sad, coming through. I don't need any crew. This is the life that I have fun. Gonna make this track your number one. Paddy up, and my man's going up. New kid on the block, hitting it on bit hip hop. Paddy up, and my man's going up. New kid on the block, hitting it on bit hip hop. Hitting it on bit hip hop.